Hi, it's Professor Hastings again, and if you have watched my introductory series on the design thinking process, then you will be familiar with the version that is espoused by IDEO and the Stanford D School, and a lot of people incorporate that version into their workflow. What I'd like to introduce today, though, is the idea that design thinking is not one thing. It is not one approach, but thousands of different approaches. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go to Google and I want you to search the design thinking process. Many of you will have already have done this. But in this case, I want you to look at the images that come up. So pop over to the images tab and you will see literally thousands of images, thousands of variations on the design thinking process. Here's one, and this has some of the methods for each phase listed below it. And you can see it doesn't start with empathize. And prototype comes before design or ideation, or maybe that's incorporated. Yeah, that's incorporated in the prototype step. So this is a company or organization that has incorporated the process and methods that suits their organization. Here's another one. Discover is another word for research. I love the word research myself, and I believe research incorporates the empathize or empathy step, but you can see this one is a little bit different. Oh, here's another one. You can see that this is more than 5 nodes, and there's some complexity within their nodes. This one is a 6-step process rather than a 5-step process. This one is also a 6-step process, and you can see that they've also got the various methods and various processes that go within the process. And then finally, my favorite, this is the research, empathize, define stage, and then it goes into ideation, prototyping, and testing. This, to me, this illustrates the design process and the creative process beautifully. This is the area that we are all, or many of us, I won't say all, many of us are uncomfortable in. And this is where we need to get comfortable in that ambiguous, chaotic state. It's proven that chaos can breed creativity, so we need to learn how to live in this space right here so that we can get to these spaces. So I'm going to leave you with 3 practices so that you can incorporate these into your creative process, your creative thinking. The first, you pick one. They're all very simple. They're very tiny, tiny steps or approaches to taking on this big thing we call design thinking. The first one is suspend judgment. And in order to suspend judgment, we actually have to become aware of when we are judging. That's the tricky part. But we can pause and become aware, and this is what I do. I have a little judgment bracelet here, and when I catch myself during the day in a state of judgment or thought of judgment, I switch it to the other wrist. And then again, when I catch myself again, because it won't be just once, I switch it again. And then I track how many times am I catching myself judging throughout the day. So that's my judgment bracelet. The second is keep an idea book. And a lot of you already do this, but keep it with you at all times. And random things, maybe not even related to what it is that you are working on or thinking about, capture those ideas. Capture everything. Capture things that you overhear. Capture things that you're inspired to capture that you see out on your walk or out and about. But keep an idea book. And then the last one, just to reconnect our hands with our brains, with our minds, just do, one little doodle a day. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. It's just reconnecting that hand, brain, cognitive development that some of us have forgotten to maintain or pursue. And it really doesn't have to be anything. Those that like to, or, have in the past drawn what they see, take on something like that. Or if it makes you really uncomfortable, use a stencil and, draw something with a stencil. If that helps you feel more creative, takes away some of the fear, by all means, do it. Anyway, design thinking. It's not one thing, it's not one approach. And it can be taken on incrementally in small steps. Thank you.